Hello world, Natasha here, and we are going to decrypt some jargon today. Specifically, we're talking about digital rights management, which is also referred to as DRM, and what I like to refer to as why you don't actually own the movies you buy online. So, here we go. Think about a situation where you just bought a movie on iTunes or Amazon Prime or Google Play. You paid, let's say, $19.99, you click purchase, and now it's in your digital library. So you own it, right? No, actually, you don't own it at all. This is the world of digital rights management, DRM, and it's one of the most misunderstood aspects of our digital lives. Because despite what that buy button suggests, you're actually not buying the movie or the song or the ebook or the software. You're licensing it, and that license comes with strings attached. So let's unpack what DRM really means and why it matters for every digital purchase you make. All right, I'm going to try and use an analogy or a story, I guess. We're going to compare the olden days to today. I call it a tale of two purchases. So imagine for a moment that you're buying a DVD in 2025. Oh shoot, I'm just thinking, I hope I don't have to define what a DVD is. I'm really hoping everyone knows what that is, but if you don't know, please Google it. Okay. Going back to the story. So buying a DVD, in 2005. Okay, so you own a physical object. You can watch it anytime, anywhere. You can lend it to friends. You can sell it, or you can give it away. You can watch it even if the movie studio goes out of business, and it works on pretty much any DVD player. Now, what if you're buying a movie digitally in 2025? Well, you own a license to access the file, which means you can watch it only while your account is active. You typically can't share it with others, and you can't sell or, transfer your purchase. And if the service shuts down, you lose access. It only works on approved devices and apps too, so not any DVD player. So the key difference is with the DVD, you bought a thing, but with the digital movie, you bought permission to access the thing. So let's look at common examples of DRM in your daily life. Streaming video services, so Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, you can only watch content through their apps. You can't download permanent copies, and you lose access if you cancel your subscription. Okay, let's talk about digital movie purchases. That's how we started off this conversation. Well, iTunes, Amazon Prime Video, despite saying buy, you're licensing content that can be removed from your library. It won't work offline indefinitely, and it definitely can't be transferred to others. Consider ebooks, your Kindle or your Apple books. You can't easily share those books with friends. They're tied to your account, and so they may not also work on competing devices. Music services. This is a big one. Spotify and Apple Music. Streaming services where you lose all your music if you stop paying versus buying individual songs which you can keep but still have some DRM restrictions. And then software like Adobe or Microsoft Office. This is subscription-based software that stops working if you don't pay, even for documents you created. And video games, right? So Epic Games Store, for example, games are tied to your account that you can't resell. And if the platform disappears, well, so do your games. So now, how does DRM actually work? Well, there's a number of components to it. So one is authentication. The software is constantly checking to find out, is this the person allowed to access this content right now? So that's a big job. Device restrictions. Many DRM systems limit how many devices you can use simultaneously or which types of devices are approved. And then there's time limits, right? So some content expires after a certain period or requires periodic check-ins with the server to continue working. There's also copy protection. So DRM prevents you from making copies, even for personal backup purposes. And then there's region locking, which, is such a pet peeve of mine. So content may only work in certain geographic locations. Why do companies use DRM? Well, there's a couple of really good reasons. Well, maybe more than a couple. The first is to prevent piracy, okay? The primary stated reason is to stop people from illegally copying and distributing content. Also, companies want to control distribution. They can manage how and where their content is accessed, including enforcing regional licensing agreements. And let's face it, money is a big part of it, right? Ongoing revenue. So, subscription models and license renewals create continuous income streams rather than income from one time purchases. There's also market segmentation, right? So, different pricing and access rules for different markets or customer types. And the last pretty big topic is data collection, right? DRM systems can track how, when, and where you consume content, and this provides super valuable analytics for companies. So now let's look at your perspective, the you being the consumer, what you're actually getting. What you think you might be buying, permanent access to content, the ability to use it like you would a physical purchase, or ownership that you can transfer or sell. But what you're actually getting is a revocable license to access content. Revocable, meaning they could take it back. Usage restrictions set by the copyright holder, and access that depends on the continued existence of the service. So, I'm going to summarize some questions to ask before buying that digital content. 1, am I actually buying this or licensing it? Big difference. 2, can I use this content offline indefinitely? 3, what devices and apps can I use to access this? 4, can I share this with family members? 5, what happens if I cancel my account or the service shuts down? And 6, are there geographic restrictions on where I can access this? And 7, can I download and keep a local copy? Okay, big questions to ask. Again, the answer might not make you decide not to do it, but you should just really be aware of what it is that you're actually buying. What are some strategies? Well, okay, I'm going to be honest. There's probably not a lot if you really love your DRM services, but I'm going to try and suggest some anyways. One is a hybrid approach. Use streaming services for casual consumption, but purchase those DRM-free copies of content that's truly important to you. And diversify your sources. Don't put all your digital content with one company or service. For truly important content, consider maintaining those physical copies, those old DVDs and old CDs alongside your digital access. The bottom line is DRM isn't inherently evil. It's a business model and content protection strategy. But as consumers, we need to understand what we're actually getting when we click that buy button. The reality is that most digital purchases are really long-term rentals with restrictions. That's not necessarily bad, but it's important to know what you're paying for. The key is to making informed decisions. Sometimes the convenience and features of DRM protected content are worth the trade-offs. Other times you might prefer the freedom and security of truly owning DRM-free content. Understanding DRM helps you make better decisions about how to spend your digital entertainment budget and avoid unpleasant surprises down the road. Because there is nothing worse than reaching for that movie you bought only to discover it's no longer available in your library. So remember, if you can't sell it, lend it, or guarantee you'll have access to it in 10 years, you probably don't own it, regardless of what the purchase button says. All right. What other topics would you like me to decrypt? If there is any other legal or technology jargon that you would like to decrypt together, please make a note in the comment.